bankrupt within 2 years, bro. In 2019, I was in the worst financial situation I've ever been in. Long story short, told my wife she had never worked since we've been together. I said, I'm gonna need you to go hit the field again. She did. She made $8,000 her first month. I'm gonna take the risk. It looks good, it looks promising, but I know if it doesn't work, I'm in a deeper hole. A month later, I'm the #1 sales guy in that office. A lot of the guys that were making a lot of money selling business funding become the gurus, and they're making their money from selling you the course to business funding. If you're set to $50,000 a year, you might have a year that you make 60, 70,000, but eventually your thermostat gets you back down to 50. Vice versa. If you got $1 million a year thermostat, you might make 700,000 one year. Your thermostat will get you back up. All right. What's up, man? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, man? Everything is good. Great week.
Listen,
Great
man, you
week.
know that it's been a long, hard week when it's 1:20 in the afternoon in California, and I've got my drink.
You got a cocktail early. Yeah, yeah.
You don't know if it's a cocktail. For all you
That's
know, it
true.
could be a Arnold Palmer.
That's true. That's true.
No, man, but listen, man, I know that we've had a long week, man, and things are great. Business is rocking. I don't know
Good.
about you, man, but I've been putting in 12, 14-hour days because we got so many projects, right? We got so many things to do. As you know, we have our
Well,
launch event on the 27th here. Today's the 12th as of the recording of this video. And we have our launch event on the 27th. We're expecting 150 to 200 people. Matter of fact, you're flying in
easy.
from
Easy. Yeah, yeah.
Dominican Republic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. It'll be like 16 to 18-hour trip. Absolutely.
Yeah,
But we'll be there, man. Is the CEO is confirmed, right? Of the company?
100%, bro.
He's confirmed. Wow. There you go. Very good.
Yeah,
Very
man,
good.
I'm excited, bro. But anyway, so with that being said, enough of the small talk. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this deal. So one of the things we're talking about today is the top 7 sales professions for 2026. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I got a couple questions, from viewers and people contacting me, right? They're already aware of the podcast that's coming out. So I've been getting, I know like you've been getting hit up. Requests I got from a few people was, man, you know what? I want to get into sales. I know sales is the highest paid profession, right? But there's a lot of different sales opportunities. Which one should I, go with, right? So I thought about it. Let's break them down, right? Let's break
That's a
them
good
down. Maybe
idea.
like top 7 or so, right? I think we can
Yeah.
get to about 7.
Originally, we thought 10, and I'm like, man, I want to elaborate on some of these. Who cares
Yeah,
about 8, 9, and 10? You know what I'm saying? Why don't we talk about the top? So we did our homework, things that we've been involved in, what we see in the industry, what we see that's hot right now. And yep, so here's what we're going to break down. So, anyways, with that being said, the first one that we have in mind is car sales. I don't know about you, Ed, but I know people that have done car sales, and there's good money. I know some friends that make some good money, but there's pros and cons to both of them, right? So if you want to start diving into the car sales, bro, what can you tell me about car
yeah,
sales?
yeah, yeah. A couple things. I haven't done it myself, right? But I know a couple good friends. One really good friend, like a brother to me, right? His name is Eddie, also. And you learn sales, right? You learn people skills. You learn how to sell, right? Because you get so many people coming into the dealerships. It's a great place to learn sales, no doubt about
Mm-hmm.
it. You can crack 6 figures, okay? And I say that like with a little bit of hesitation because the amount of hours you need to put in to make over 100 grand is it's not 40 hours a week. Okay. I don't know of anyone I've ever seen in car sales, Jay, that put in like a regular 40-hour week that was making 6 figures. It's just difficult, right? So my buddy, for example, he sold Toyotas for many years. He sold Mercedes, right? Their average commission, bro, is, like sometimes $500, rarely 1,000. That's rare. Three to five hundred
Jeez.
dollars, $300 to $500 for a car sale. Somebody might be spending, 40, 50,000, 100,000, and you're making about $500, right? Because
Wow.
it's so freaking competitive, right? People come in there with their, they go online, and they pull up, oh, I could go to ABC Toyota and I could get it for this price, right? So it's just the margins are so tough, right? The actual salesperson doesn't make a whole lot, and you put in a lot of damn hours,
Yeah.
But and you got to be pumping out about, I've been told like over 30 cars a month. So
Yeah,
that's the issue, man. That's the issue.
it is. You know what's funny, man? That I'm gonna give him a shout out. Just yesterday, I was talking to my friend Jesus Duarte. Shout out to my buddy Jesus Duarte. He's been in car sales for a long time, six-figure earner. Super sharp guy, great guy, funny guy. We get along great, man. He's been a good friend. Matter of fact, we became friends because he sold me a BMW back in like 2014 or 15. I went on a Thursday or Wednesday to his dealer, closed on a white BMW, which by the way, I own a white BMW now, but I bought that white BMW. The next day, I was taking it to Vegas to the GoPro event, the network marketing event, the GoPro event.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I got my wife and stuff and some people, some friends. We went to Las Vegas. So I met him, such a cool guy. We became friends, exchanged numbers. We've been friends since. I sold him solar when I was in the solar industry. And I spoke to him yesterday about coming to work with us. But he says, listen, I'm interested in the business. I'm interested in what you do, but I need a life insurance policy. So he says, I need you to give me a quote on a life insurance policy. What's interesting is that he also asked me to refer him to my friend that does business funding, which interestingly enough, and this is no bullshit. This is the truth.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
true story. So it's funny because he needs both of those things. And we're talking about both of those things today. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, I'll say this about the car sales industry. I've got a lot of friends throughout the years. Very few stick it out a long time because it's a lot. It's a hard grind. You could make the six figures. Most don't. And but the long hours, the weekends. If you got kids, you're not going to see your kids on the weekends, right? You're not going to own your weekends. That's when it's prime time. That's when people are mostly shopping for cars. So you're really expecting not only do they expect you to work weekends, but you kind of want to work weekends if you want to make money, right? That's when you're going to get a lot more traffic. So that's one of the things, traffic comes to you. Now, sure, there's opportunities where people call, right?
Yeah.
They call leads, people that put their leads on online. But for the most part, it's a way to pay the bills, but it's not one of those high paying sales positions. So I would put car sales at number 7. Would you agree with that, brother?
Yeah. Another big one is no residual, right? You sell that
Right.
car, you're not getting any residual income on that. Every month, you're starting all over again, right? I want us to break these down, right? Because I don't want to be like, shitting over the other sales opportunities, right? We know we got the best, but I want to
Right.
give proper credit, proper, recognition for because there are some good things. And that's the great thing
Yeah.
about car sales, right? If you're brand new and you want to get into sales, yes, high volume. You're talking to a lot of people a day. They're walking to the dealership, right? And you learn
Right.
those skills, right? But long-term career, not a good move. Yeah, definitely not. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I know a lot of friends that are very sharp. They started with car sales, right? That's one of the things. They're going to teach you how to, if you're in a good dealer, right? Of course, I'm sure there's some dealers that are good, some that are bad, but you're going to learn how to sell, especially if you're in your environment. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're in the right environment, one person could be broke in the same company or industry. The other person could be a millionaire because of environment, the team that they're on, right? So there's some broke car salespeople, and then there's some car salespeople that do just fine, right? So no, it's a good industry. I personally wouldn't do it, right? I like my weekends, I like my flexibility. And you mentioned residual, not only residual, but passive income. There's two different things, right? So
yeah,
like the
yeah,
business
yeah,
that
yeah.
we've got residual income from sales that we've made in the past that no more sales are happening. And so sale that happened one time and it pays me over and over residual income. Then there's a passive income where I have an agency and I've got people that are working their career, and as they make sales, I make passive agency ownership
Well,
overrides.
yeah. The only way that could happen, right, would be you're the GM, right? You're the
Right.
GM there, or you're the owner of the dealership, right? I mean, you got to be in a management position. Now, what are we talking about? Now we're talking about office politics, right? That bullshit. It's
Yeah.
political, right? For you to move up. See what I'm saying? So anyway, but back to the point, just the average salesperson, right? Unless you're not in management, you're not going to get any passive income, right?
Yep.
And you're going to be the one working the weekends. You're starting over every single month. Yeah. So
Tough
that's the
place to
deal.
be.
What's the next one
Yep.
you got? What's the next one?
The next one I got is business funding. A lot of people, especially right now, you're looking at social media, you follow salespeople, you follow some of these gurus. Business funding over the last 2, 3 years has been a hot topic. Business funding is basically when business owners go to these people and they say, hey, man, I want to get a business loan. Now, somebody might ask, well, why would I go to this guy, JC or Ed? That, by the way, that's not the business that we're in. I've got friends that do that business. If you need that, I could refer you. But they say, why would I go to them when I could go to the bank? These guys, what they do is that they're like professional underwriters. So they have relationships with banks and with finance companies, with credit unions, and they structure the deal so they work on people's credit first. They work on their business credit. They work on their personal credit, and they say, "Look, I know what the guidelines are. This bank has different guidelines than that bank, and this bank has different, and this bank has for this, that bank has for that." Or something, they'll start them off like small, like, "Look, let's get you with these small credit unions to build up credit. Then you got comparable credit. Now that you've got comparable credit, then we go and put you to the Chase." For example, a lot of people are going to go to Chase and Bank of America first. That's not where to start for business credit first. So, anyways, that's what these guys do. And as a rule of thumb, they charge between 10 and 15, sometimes as high as 20%. I've even heard as high as 30 and 40%, which is a ripoff. But the good guys charge between 10 and 15% of what they get you. So very often they get the customer $50,000, $100,000, $250,000, right? And they get paid 10%, 12%, 15%. Now, here's the thing about that industry that I've noticed, bro. Large commissions, that's good. But number one, now, there's a lot of competition. Number two, the banks have gotten really restrictive. They're like, "Oh, no," because what happens is that there's been an influx of this, and then a lot of these people default on their loans, right? So the banks have gotten more restrictive. But I was talking to a friend of mine who's in that space, and he says, "Look, bro, I'm gonna be honest, man. I do marketing. I had to start a credit repair business because 1% of these leads that I get qualify for business funding. 99% don't. So what I do is I funnel them through my credit, because most people don't qualify because their credit is not where it needs to be. So I sell them credit repair. That way it's worth it. So I'll get that 1 or 2% that makes big commissions. The other ones I make small commissions. I said, that's smart. That's a smart way to do it. In business, you have to pivot. And that's what he did. And that's what I love about entrepreneurship, that we learn to pivot, to roll with the punches. So shout out to my buddy Jay Will, by the way. He rolled with the punches. He says, "Look, man, I spent a lot of money on marketing, but then I put them into credit repair and I take 1, 2% that qualify and I sell them business funding. So the money is great, but I don't think it's as great as it used to be." I'm going to wrap it up with this. A couple of reasons that I see. I'm not an expert by any means in this subject, but one of them is the banks are getting tighter with their restrictions. Now they're like, "Oh, well, we need more of this. We need more of that. You got everything that we need, but we need a relationship. You got to be a customer of ours and have some money come in and out of your account for 3 months or 6 months. So you can't get it that fast." Then you've got more competition and a very small percentage of people qualify. But I know some people making a lot of money, but a lot of the guys that were making a lot of money selling business funding, now they become the gurus and they're making their money from selling you the course to business funding. It's like, if you're making so much money selling business funding, bro, why aren't you focused on that? That's usually a sign that business isn't that good. I don't know the saying. I don't want to chop it up, but it says, "He who can't do teaches how to do the thing that he can't do." I know.
Right.
That's what I see.
Exactly. So you know what? But so we can wrap up this point because that's interesting. So you're saying these guys, they're kind of like brokers, aren't they?
Yeah.
They look to find you. Okay. They're not involved themselves using their credit profile or any of their relationships. They're not involved to help you get the funding. They're not. Or they are.
No, they're involved. They walk you through, because think about it. They get paid when you get paid. You get the money, they get paid. But a lot of times the criticism is, "Bro, this guy helped me get a credit card for $10,000. I could have got that on my own, and he's asking me for $1,000."
Got it.
So it's kind of like a very gray area business.
Yeah, that's like my father used to be a loan shark, believe it or not. Sounds similar. Sounds similar. He was a loan shark in Harlem in the ghetto. He was a loan shark. Yeah, it's funny.
Interesting.
Oh yeah. So listen, the next one I got, we know a lot about. Solar.
Woo!
Solar.
This was gonna take a little longer.
Yeah. Solar. Let's talk about solar.
I'll let you start.
Yeah, I'll start because you're much more the expert there, right? Actually, you got me into solar. Remember that? Right? On YouTube, you had some content. I looked you up. But anyway, solar. Pretty decent commissions. That's the pros. You're helping the planet go green, I don't know how much I buy into that. Yes or no? It's in between. You got scientists on one side saying one thing, scientists on the other, that, it's a bunch of bullshit, but, whatever. So I don't know about that. I don't get into that. But I know the commissions are really good. You can build teams. You can have passive income. What else? Yeah, control your own schedule. Um, you don't need a degree. You don't need any special licenses. Yeah,
I
as a
think
sales rep. What
I
else?
think this proves that the list of cons is a lot longer than the list of pros. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
look, I'm gonna just shoot from the hip. A lot of people that follow me, they know my background. I started in the solar industry in 2020, and with a company called Power, and I blew it. I blew it out of the water there. Right, broke
Yeah.
every record they have till this day. I broke every record. In 3 years, my team did 2,100 installs. No experience, and during the pandemic, by the way, I got started late March 2020 in the solar industry. Late March. So 2 weeks after the worldwide shutdown, I got started. And I was knocking on doors with a mask, bro, even though I wasn't supposed to. Now, I would knock on the door, I stepped back 6 feet, which was all bullshit. But, anyways, that's a different story. We did $105 million in sales in 3 years. I built a huge organization. I had a team of about 1,800 people. Granted, most of them were part time. It's like a network
Yeah.
marketing model. Very few were, full time people, but nevertheless, you do a lot of volume. So, and year to date from 2020 till now, my team's done about little over 10,000 solar installations. So a lot. So my point being with that is that I've got some credibility and some experience in this particular subject. So the pros, listen, you're doing something good for the customer, especially I'm in California. If you go solar in California, 9 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times, I'm going to save you some money. It financially, it makes sense. The cons is the reason why I had a company, a network marketing company that you were a part of as well. After I crushed it with Power, I started my own company. We ended up merging the company with another company. The reason why is because I felt like everything was against us. Like, listen, I don't care about sales. The sales are going to fall for one reason or another. The customer has cold feet. Somebody stole your deal, offered them a better deal. Whatever the reasons are, universal reasons why you lose a deal, I could deal with that. When I got the universal reasons, in addition to the government is against you.
Right,
President comes
right.
in, no more tax credit, 30% tax credit, gone. It's a
Gone,
big hit.
gone. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Utility companies say, "Hey, no more net metering. We're going to take it off, or we're going to decrease it." Now they're gone. Banks are going bankrupt. The top five,
Right.
4 or 5 banks went bankrupt. The top
Yep.
three biggest installers that were too people thought were too
Bankrupt.
big to fail,
Yep.
bankrupt, bankrupt, bankrupt within 2 years, bro. Okay,
Yeah, that's
banks
crazy.
went bankrupt. So you got banks, utilities, government, cities against you. I just felt last year I said, I'm building on sand here. Trying to build a castle on sand. That's not very wise. So don't get me wrong. If like I got a lead that I closed the other day, I assign it to one of my closers. I'm like, hey, close this deal for me. She closes the deal. I don't deal with it because I'm supremely focused. I'd rather make half the commission, have somebody else close the deal. But when it was good, it was good.
Sure.
Is it good for the homeowner? Yes, I'm a firm believer it's good for the
Yep.
homeowner. Is it good for the environment? I don't believe in that. I don't believe in global warming to begin with. But
Yep.
I think, I'm not going to get into that conversation. But for the homeowner, for most times, depends the state you're in, it definitely is good. Commissions are good. Another problem though is long timelines, right? On average, you're waiting
Right,
two
right, right.
or 5 months to get paid, or
Correct.
sometimes you wait that long, and guess what? You don't get paid. They're like, our installer went bankrupt. They owed us over 300 installs. Now, that's as a company, right? Now, as a team, though, you got sales reps that are like, dude, I'm using this to pay my bills. I close the deal today. I might get paid in December.
Right.
So it was good while it lasted. And the key to sales is you got to have a big pipeline because you're going to have problematic deals. You got to have a big pipeline. You can't be a baby like a hen sitting on its eggs. Let me sit on these 3 little eggs till they hatch. No, if you're a closer, bro, you're closing deals. So when a deal would fall, when I was selling and building, bro, I had at any given point 15, 20 sold deals in the pipeline. At any given point, my team was doing between 130 and 150 installs a month when I was on the field building. So to me, it's like the reason why you worry about a deal that's falling is because you don't have any more deals. You're sitting
Right.
on those eggs. So, but back then, that was before the banks fell, multiple, before the installers fell, before the government changed shit on you. Then, the utilities are always changing things on you. So, for those reasons, solar used to be up there with number 1 or 2 in my book, definitely
Yeah,
top
yeah.
three.
Yeah, it was.
Now it's number 5.
Yeah. One more thing just to add is it's a want. It's not a need, right? We would
Yeah,
get that a lot, right? I was more the recruiter, and then my
yeah,
buddy Julio, he was closing, right? I was recruiting all the agents. But it's like sometimes people just say, you know what, I don't really need it, right? It's a want, you know.
yeah,
Some people didn't care about going green, right? They didn't believe in global warming, you know. Sometimes you have the sun exposure. Sometimes it didn't make sense. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, but I think the biggest one of all, I mean, besides all the failures, right, around you, I think the biggest one of all is like, damn, I closed today. I may not get paid for 3, 4 months, right?
yep,
And another one is right. There's a lot of unscrupulous, right, little solar
yeah,
dealers all over the country, right?
yep,
And they close shop, right? They owe these guys money that they're counting on that
yep,
cash to feed their family, and they just close shop, and they can't do
yes.
shit about it. Yeah, yeah. And then what do? They go connect with another installer, right? And they restart. Yeah, and then everybody who gets screwed is the sales rep. Yeah. So
Not only that, bro, like if you don't have most of them don't have the right model. Like we had a team building model. It was an equal opportunity. I even made a video that's still on YouTube, right? That I showed people how the traditional model, which is 99.9% of companies, there's very little upward mobility. The guy that brought you into the team, he makes no bread on you. You're never going to make what he makes
right.
because then you cut him off, right? And what if you got brought a guy by a guy who got brought in by a guy who got brought in by a guy? You're 3, 4 levels in the organization. You got a terrible commission split. So what they're doing, similar to real estate, which we're going to get into shortly, you're training your future competition. When you don't have the right environment, the right comp plan, the right business model, you're training your future competition. And that's where direct sales, that's where certain industries thrive. So those are a couple of points on solar that I would mention. Anything else you
What do
want to
you
add on that one, bro?
um with solar? No, I think we dissected that pretty well. What's the next one?
Mm-hmm.
The next one I haven't done, right, is home security, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, all I could think of is right, you're door to door, right? That's a door to door
Yes.
model, right? And the problem
Mm-hmm.
with door to door is, I mean, you get burnt out, right? You're wearing out
Yeah.
shoes, right? Going door to door every single day. I mean, I'm saying that's not a long term career. You're not going to be in your 40s and 50s, right? Doing door to door. Um, that's what sucks about it. The commissions are okay, right? They're not high, they're not low, they're okay. Um, I think what I like also about it, right? Anything door to door, right? You get the experience, right? High rejection, you build thick skin
Yes,
right
big
away.
time.
So that is a good thing. But yeah, I've never done door to door, other than knocking down doors, executing search
When you were
warrants
a
and,
detective.
and getting kilos. Yeah, getting kilos, right? Yeah, yeah. We got to tell people that, right? When I was a narcotics detective, in case they tune into a podcast, it's like, wait a minute, this guy's talking about the drug business. No, no, no. It was the illegal drug business that we were putting away. So yeah, I don't really have door to door experience. I know you do. So how about you elaborate?
Yes, yes. So I mean, my thing is this. I have a soft spot in my heart for that industry. Here's why. First of all, my wife, when I met my wife, she used to sell home security door to door. She used to make 8 grand a month, 10 grand a month selling home security door to door. She was badass, door knocking. That's the
Oh,
thing though, door knocking, right? Now, can you sell it without door knocking? Sure. I know some people that they build relationships with realtors and real estate offices and different people, and they get business like that, social media, right? But if you want the aggressive one that wants to close more business is that. I'll tell you a quick story about it. In 2019, in 2018, my wife and I, we had a net worth of over $1 million. 2019, we lost it. A lot of it was in crypto. A lot of it was in a company that you are familiar with, network marketing company. A couple of investments. Shit went sideways big time within like a 6 month period. So I was in a worst financial situation I've ever been in. Long story short, told my wife she had never worked since we've been together. I said, I'm going to need you to go hit the field again, meaning go knock on doors. She did. She made $8,000 her first month. So I look at her check and I
damn.
said,
Wait. She went out. You asked her, right? You asked her, hey, can you help me?
mm-hmm,
Knock on
mm-hmm,
doors. I need your help. And she
yep,
knocked on doors and made 8 grand.
yep,
Holy shit. Listen, dude,
yes,
that's a keeper wife. That's what you call a keeper wife.
100%.
I mean,
Bro, I knew that
damn.
before, but I know it even more now, bro.
Yeah.
Here's how it was. It wasn't in this house. It was another house. We only had Maximus. Maximus was like 5. This is 2019, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Maximus was 5, 2019. Max goes to sleep, and I had this stress because I'm like, I lost this income, I lost this passive income, I lost all this money. like a shit ton of things happen. And I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I don't really stress too much, bro. Even with shit like you, when shit
Yeah.
is a fan, I'm the kind of guy that I stay cool under pressure, bro. I keep a level head. But the pressure started to build, and I said, okay, I need to make more money. Mind you, I retired my mom a long time ago. I'm not gonna send my mom back to work. So I
Right.
said,
Right.
I said to Jennifer, meet me in the living room. We need to talk. She's like, oh, okay. I said, it's not anything. Don't let your mind go crazy. It's
Yeah.
probably not as bad as you think. Okay, she probably thought it was something else, right? So we sit down and I said, here's a situation that we're in. Financially, we're not in a good situation. I explained to her, blah, 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 blah. She's like, okay. She's leaning forward, listening to her man, to her husband. Then I said, I'm gonna need you to hit the field again because I just need you to hit the field for 2, 3 months while I get my stuff together and I get figured out. She says, okay, I'll do it. Took her about 2 weeks to
Oh,
do it. Took her about 2 weeks to do it. She was, procrastinating a little bit, but she was putting things in place, talking to her mom to help us with. So only her mom and my mom watch our kids ever. Only
right.
my mom and her mom. Two other people have watched our kids 2 different occasions. That's it. So, anyways, she goes, and I'm at the time, my friend Danny, Danny, started a company and he made me the master distributor, a network marketing company. And I remember thinking, man, this service is badass. We had a service, no chargeback merchant account. Imagine, no chargeback merchant account. I said, if this works, we're going to make a lot of money. But if it doesn't work, I'm going to fall into a deeper hole.
Right.
So I said, it's fucking do or die. But at the time, I'm like, what, 37 years old, 38 years old. So I said, I got time. I'm young. I got time. So if I fail, I could pick myself up, right? So I said, fuck it. I'm going to take the risk. It looks good. It looks promising. But I know if it doesn't work, I'm in a deeper hole. But I had already been trying to make it work. And we didn't even have it ready for us. It was in a pre-launch. So Jennifer is making
Oh,
money. A month goes by. I'm further frustrated because we can't get this off the ground and it's looking less promising. So I tell Danny, I said, listen, bro, I'm gonna need to go out and do something else because I gotta make more money, bro. He says, I get it, bro. I totally get it. It's taking longer than we expected. Do what you gotta do. Cool. Mind you, I'm a master distributor. So Jennifer shows me that she made $8,000 for the last 3, 4 weeks. I said, what? It wasn't even a month, bro. It was less than a month. It was like 3 weeks. I said, how much do you make on a deal? She says $500 to $750. Sometimes I can make as high as $850, but about $600, $700 a deal, average. She says, the other day I closed two in a day. It would have been three, but one person didn't pass credit. I said, so you'd have made close to 2,000 to $1,500, 16, $1,700 in a day if the credit passed? Yes. I said, kind of like the movies, take me to your leader. I said, take me to your
okay.
office tomorrow. Because I'm like, shit, if she can make 8 grand, I can make $10,000. I'm competitive, right? So I'm like, if my wife can do it,
So
I'm
wait a
gonna
minute.
just
You had never done it before.
I've never done it.
Okay. Okay. So she got you into home security. I didn't. Okay. I didn't know
Correct.
that. I thought you were in it before. Got it. Got it. Okay.
No.
Okay. So go ahead. Yeah.
So she takes
That's
me to
criminal.
her office in Downey, California, where we live. We get to the office. I already knew the owner of the office, nice guy. So I tell him, she says, oh, JC wants to go on the field. And the owner of the office knows me. He's seen me speak. He's been to my event. So he's jacked. He said, hell yeah, JC, I'll teach you everything, bro. And Jenny, she's amazing, man. So you guys are good. You guys are going to crush it. I said, bro, I need to make 10 grand a month. So show me I'm coachable. He shows me the pitch. I still got the video of him showing me the pitch, 2019, bro. I said, cool. I'll go shadow my wife. So in door knocking, you shadow the person. So I'm next to my wife. She's knocking and pitching, and I'm just listening. 30 minutes in, bro. This is a Friday. 30 minutes in, closes the sale. And I remember like it was yesterday. The kid, she had like a 5-year-old kid, and he had a karate bag outside. I said, oh, do you do karate? He says, the mom says, we're getting him into karate. He wanted us to buy him that bag. I know a little bit about karate because I'm a black belt. I won a world title in karate. So I'm teaching the kid some kicks while my wife is taking
Nice.
the application and running credit, bro.
Damn. Nice. Nice.
Oh yeah, bro. So I'm
Nice.
teaching the kid these kicks and shit. The lady loves me. She loves my wife. My wife is pretty lady, pretty woman, and she's nice. She's professional. So then after we're done, the lady's happy. She's securing her family. We're walking and we're already like 2 houses down. And I ask her, how much you make on that deal? She says, almost $700. I said, dude, we've been out here 30 minutes. You made seven, what? And I'm like, oh, babe, we're going to crush this. We don't have any money problems, even at the time we had them. But I realized we don't have any money problems because we got the deal. So I shadowed her a little bit longer. That day, she closed 2 deals. So halfway through the day, we knocked like 5 hours that day. It was a Friday afternoon. So I knocked for about the last 2 hours. I said, I got it. She takes one side of the street. I take the other side of the street. We go and knock. I don't get any sales. She ended up with two. So she made like 12, 1,300 bucks for the day. The next day we're supposed to go. Her mom and was supposed to watch her kid. She couldn't. My mom wasn't available. So we had nobody. So I tell her, don't worry. You stay, I go. I need to practice. She's like, you sure? You just barely shadowed me yesterday. I say, who cares? Even if I don't get a sale, I'm going to go and practice this. I'm going to just read the words on that script. And I'm going to talk to more people than you could talk to because I'm going to power walk. I'm going to cut through people's grass. I'm going to make up in numbers what I like in skill. It's all good. So I drive to a really nice area in Downey. I don't care because these sales reps, they prejudge the area. Really nice areas they don't go to, or an area that's popular they don't go to, that like, this has been hit too much. I didn't know what I didn't know. This is a lesson, by the way. So I park in this nice area, beautiful, big old trees cover both sides of the street, almost like the trees cover the street. So like there's no shade even in the street. You know what I mean? So I look at that neighborhood, bro, and I go, somewhere in this neighborhood, in these hundreds of homes, lies one or two people that need a home security system, and I'm going to find that person. And I'm going to power walk. So I power walk, bro. I'm power walking, bro. And I just go. I'm like 4 or 5 hours in, door knocking. This is 2019. Finally, somebody bites. Close the deal. He had a B credit. A credit is A plus credit, A credit, then B credit. He had like a B plus. Made like 550 bucks on that deal. I said to the guy, I didn't even know how to take an application, Ed. I said to the guy, listen, I need to call my manager because we got a brand new system and I don't want to make any mistakes on your application. Okay, cool. I call my wife. Hey, Mrs. Rangel, how's it going? Yeah, I'm here with a customer. I'm still not too familiar with the system. I want to make sure I don't make any mistakes. So could you walk me through it? Yeah, walks me through the application, close the deal. I leave and I keep knocking. Long story short, though, I made 550 bucks. And she calls me afterwards, like 20 minutes after I'm done with the app. Wanted to make sure I wasn't there anymore. She says, hey, are you out? Yes. Dude, you got that deal in Downey? So yeah. She says, most door knockers wouldn't even go to that area because it's been hit so many times. I said, I know, but I don't care. No, actually, I didn't say I know. I said, it doesn't matter because I don't care. I'm not going to prejudge it. I'm just going to go, right? So long story short, bro, a month later, I'm the #1 sales guy in that office. I beat everybody in the office, making 10 grand a month selling home security door to door, bro. So,
and you know what? There's some lessons in there, right? Persistence. I heard persistence. I heard, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna practice. Who gives a shit, right?
That's right.
And a lot of people, that's something a lot of people think they need to be perfect to go out there and sell or recruit or whatever it is. No, you learn by doing. That's something I used to always preach in my former company. I would always say, you learn by doing, okay? And I want to digress here because I want to give a little lesson. I think sometimes it's good that we give some lessons, right?
Yes, please.
To the folks, right? If you think about it, everything you learn by doing, okay? You learn to walk, right? As a baby, a toddler, by doing it, right? It's not like you fell the first time. Well, fuck, you still be crawling at this point, right? As an adult, you would be crawling, okay? Riding a bike, how many times do you not fall? You learn by doing, right? Swimming, right? Like, can you watch videos all day, watch an instructor teach you how to swim from the front of the classroom? No, your ass got to get in the water. You're going to get water in your eyes, your ears, your nose, right? You're going to spit up water. Everything you learn by doing, right?
That's right.
What about making love? That's how I learned, right? I learned by doing. I'm still practicing today, right?
That's right.
You got to do it. You know, that's why the founder of my former company, he says, just do it. Just do it. And it sounds so stupid, but I hope somebody here gets it. It's like, right? You got to smart people. Just do it. Don't worry about it, right? You heard the pitch or whatever it is. You're not going to get it down perfect, right? You're going to get rejection. That's good, right? Because that means, right? I know that means you're closer to a yes, but more important than closer to a yes, you're learning what needs to be corrected, right? You're learning. But when you're in a damn classroom, when you're just reading scripts and that shit, you're not doing. You gotta really take action. That's one of the biggest lessons in sales, right? Sales is not complicated. It's just people worry about what others think. of them, right?
Yep.
And they're going to say no to me or I suck. Who really cares? It doesn't matter.
That's right.
But yeah, brother,
No, no.
I learned a lot about home security there. Very good.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. Thanks. And no, listen, to your point, procrastination is the cornerstone of poverty. Most people procrastinate too much. Most people are this aim, aim. The aim is let me get it right. Let me
Yep.
practice. Let me get it right. Aim, 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 aim. Winners and doers are that doers. We shoot and then aim. Let me go and practice a doggone pitch and let me figure it out. It doesn't matter. It's better than staying at home pretending that like I'm studying and maybe I am studying. Guess what? I could study out on the field. I could study getting my teeth kicked in, so to speak. I could study falling flat on my face, having a face plant on the field. But here's the deal, though. There's an identity that we all have, and we live up to our identity. Our identity is like our internal thermostat. If you're
Okay.
set to 50,000 a year, you might have a year that you make 60, 70,000, but eventually your thermostat gets you back down to 50, vice versa. You got $1 million a year thermostat. You might make 700,000 one year. Your thermostat will get you back up. You open the window, right? The temperature
Yep.
goes up. The thermostat kicks in, right? The AC kicks in. So we all have that thermostat, so to speak. So to me, I was like, dude, I know what it takes to win. And what it takes to win isn't procrastinating and thinking about it. What it takes to win is doing shit, getting out there and making a mistake, falling forward. So I went and did that. And bro, eventually I'm like looking at all these guys, they get happy. They close a sale for the day, they made $500 for the day, $700 for the day, and they quit. I'm like, see, I'm not quitting when I made a sale or when I'm tired. I'm quitting when I'm done. I said I will go from this time to this time, and guess what? That's what I'm going to do. I noticed, daylight savings, it starts by 5 o'clock in California, bro. And then me, the way that I look, kind of tall Mexican guy with a gold tee, kind of bald head, a lot of people didn't want to open the door for me. And I'm like, I'm still going to knock, but I said, what can I do? Instead of hitting the field at 3 or 4, I'm going to hit the field at 10 a.m. I'm going to go from 10 to 5, and I'm going to hit businesses up. So I told my wife, let's go. We're going to go from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. She was like, damn, that's a lot of time. I said, but that's what we're going to do. We got bills to pay. She takes once, it was in East LA, bro. East Los Angeles. Beverly Boulevard. This is where they filmed the movie Boulevard Nights. This is where they filmed even Blood In, Blood Out, right on Beverly Boulevard. You take that side of the street, I take this side of the street. We walk all the way down and we pitch all these businesses. So that's what we're doing, bro. We're going down the street. We get to like 3 o'clock. I got 2 sales. She's got 0. We're having lunch at Subway. And she's like, oh man. And by the way, the sales that I got, no. I had 3 sales. She didn't have any sales. So we had made about $1,600 for the day because businesses pay a little bit less. So we're having lunch and she asked me, hey babe, do you want to go after this? I said, it's only 3. We said we go till 5. She said, yeah, but we made some really good money. I said, I'll tell you what, if you want, this is why I talk to my wife. If you want, you could take an Uber home. But daddy's staying till 5 because I promised myself I stay till 5 and winners do what winners do. But if you want to go home, I'll sing you home. She goes, never mind. And she just finishes her sandwich. We go, we don't finish any more sales, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that a winner does what winners do, bro. So that's another lesson for you, man.
And the other thing is that you splurge with your wife at Subways.
Exactly, bro. We splurge us.
No, we would teach. We would. I used to. I mean, teach when I was with cops. We would all go out. Cops love to go out and party and have fun. I was young, and I remember, man, at that point, I was a bit of an introvert, believe it or not. And one day, I see this guy, and he every single night we go out, he picks up a girl to go out with, to hang out. Not every time. Like
Really?
10 out of 10. You went out 10 out, you're like, and I'm like, what's the secret, dude? Now I would watch him, right? I would watch him. He did not give a shit what anybody looked at him and said. Dude, if there was like 10 girls, for example, at the bar, and they're all next to each other, all hanging out, he would go to the first one, and the music is playing. So I can't hear what the conversation is. But all I see is this. The girl is going like, and then the next one. He didn't care. He would go to the next one, and the next one would go, no. And then, but all of a sudden, he worked the law of numbers, right? That's another lesson here, right? The law of numbers. One of them says, yeah, let's dance. And he would dance. He was a good dancer, right? And then one day he says to me, he goes, bro, you know what the secret is? I said, what? He who hesitates masturbates. So I don't know if
Wow.
you're gonna leave this in the podcast or not, but it was a good lesson. I was like, damn,
It's
you're
all
right. You're right.
that
And
was
after
such a
that, bro,
good joke that it's good.
yeah, I didn't care, bro. I was like, that's why I started learning the law of numbers, bro. Whether it's
That's
dating, whether
right.
it's selling, whatever it is the law of
It's so
numbers.
true.
But it is. All right,
I
brother. Let's
remember I
talk.
used to go out. I used to go out with my friends when we were in our 20s to clubs often, right? Clubs and bars. And I was for a while a wallflower. And I wasn't necessarily a introverted guy, but I just kind of froze up. And I had my friends, bro, that's what they would do. They'd go through and they go like this. No. Boom. They talk to this girl, no, with their shirt drenched. And I'm over here with my shirt dry. You know what I mean? Why?
Yeah,
Because I didn't talk to that many. Now I would talk to girls, but not as many as they did. So they always had more fun and got more numbers. So it's true, man.
crazy. Law of
But
numbers.
let me wrap up with a couple of these points for home security. Good commissions, fast commissions can get you out of a rut. Matter of fact, our mutual friend and business partner, Pedro. Pedro, I don't know if you know this story, bro. Pedro had an ADT dealer. So
Oh,
Pedro was an ADT. He got into mortgage. Interesting enough, that's the next subject we're talking about. Mortgage crash of 2008 happens, loses everything. Was already in security. He says, I needed to humble myself, JC. I got into security again. I went door knocking. I made $100,000 my first year. I just had a I was the mortgage guy with my own office, with loan officers on my team. Now I'm knocking on doors, selling door to door. So that's why I have a special place in my heart. It's a great place. It's a great business to make some pretty decent money. You want to make 8 grand a month, 10 grand a month, and you don't mind door knocking? By all means, you could do it.
right,
But
right,
guess what,
right,
though? Is it a long-term play? You're also training your competition. Eventually,
right.
the sales reps shop you for better contracts, better commissions. So people it's a big revolving door, bro. If I notice, even the dealer that my wife works for, right? They used to work for. They only have a couple guys, and usually it's a big revolving door. They go to that dealer, then they go to this dealer, then they go to that dealer. Sometimes they end up back in the same dealer. It's just yeah, man. So it's
Right.
good to get out of a hole. Do I think it's not it is my opinion that it is not the best for long-term growth, and
Right.
it's certainly not the place to make $1 million a year.
Right. And no residual. Did we mention
No
that?
reason.
Right. No residual and no passive, right? Unless you're the owner of the dealership. No
Yeah,
passive income. Okay.
the big dealers do have residual, but to get to that point, you got to be in that industry long time before you get there.
Yep. What's the next one? Top
Next one is
seven
more
sales.
mortgages.
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 Okay. All right.
Were you selling mortgages when you were in Primerica back in the day?
Yeah, we did. We did refis, mainly
Mhm.
refis. They did have some initial, right, purchase, but we did very few of those. It was mostly refi. And did I do yeah, we did a lot actually, but my organization did a whole lot. And it was good, but again, that's a different model, right? That's a network marketing model with mortgages, right? If we're talking about the normal mortgage business, um,
Right.
right? No reason. Well, let's talk about the positive, right? The commissions are
Yes.
good, right? There are definitely
Big
good
commissions.
commissions. What else? You're helping people, right? Get their dream. People people are biting their fingernails, right? Oh my God, I hope I get approved. I hope I get a mortgage, right? Like, remember the first time I got, a really nice home? We were like praying, even though we have good credit, you're still like, oh, I hope I get approved, because you want to get into that house, right? So it's pretty satisfying. You do good things for people. Um, what else? What else can you think of on the positive side?
I mean, great income. You help families. Uh, here's a good one for them. When they build a big network and they got a bunch of realtors that use them, the realtors are bringing you the business.
Yep.
So, for example, I've got a friend of mine, Oscar, who's now in the financial services and life insurance world. He's with New York Life, and he's coming with us to Experior. He says, JC, I've been in mortgages more than 20 years. I go to an event, a realtor event, there's 15 loan officers, and 4 of them are beautiful women. Who do you think
Yeah.
these realtors are going to give the business to? Not me. So you're
Right.
right, bro. You can't compete with those women. No, and
Well,
if they're
yep.
sharp, and a lot of them are, you're gonna have a
Yep.
hard time.
Agreed. It is what
So
it is.
it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And they know what's up. They go to these events and you got these realtors that want to flirt with them, they want to interact with them. I'll give you my business, right? Why would they give it to you or me? They're not going to give it to you. So it's kind of, hey, listen, it is what it is. Life isn't fair. Some things are more fair for women than they are for men, and some things are more fair for men than they are for women. That's just the world that we live in.
Yeah, yeah. And everybody's worried to be politically correct. No,
Yeah.
that's the fact. The fact is, you and I go to one of those BNI things, right? The networking events, and there's a beautiful, good-looking woman. That realtor guy is gonna, most of the time, right? He's
Yes.
gonna give him the business. It is what it is.
Yep.
What about some of the cons of it? I mean, I know the interest environment, right? The
Yep.
economic environment can kill. I
That
mean, can
controls your
kill the
business.
mortgage industry. It can totally controls you there. Um, unless you have the mortgage, agency yourself, you're not getting any passive income if you're just a normal mortgage guy.
Right.
Um, no residual.
There's a lot of competition too, bro, right? So
True.
even for women, like right now, interest rates aren't that great. A lot of loan officers, I have a lot of loan officer friends and realtor friends, and they say, look, nobody's refinancing. Why would
Right.
they refinance? And then a lot of them that wanted to sell to buy a new one, they're like, why would I sell right now when my interest rate's so low? I'm gonna go get into a high sell, take out some equity, get into a high interest rate. So those things really control you. There's a lot of competition, right? Yeah, it's just it's a good industry. Don't get me wrong, it's number three. Number three is high.
Yeah.
It does take time, like anything else, right? It takes time to get people to know you, right? You got to really grind it out. A lot of networking. If you like networking, that's great. Some people don't like networking, right? You can also buy leads, right? Lead costs are
Yeah. Yeah.
expensive, right?
Very
So,
expensive. Very expensive. Yeah. Very expensive.
yep,
And no residual, right? And we talked about it.
no
No passive.
residual.
Which
When
obviously
rates go,
I keep saying that. Yeah, I keep saying that because that's just to me that's so freaking important, right? Do the work and continue to get paid for the work that you did, and
yeah,
get paid on the efforts of other people, right? You help other people succeed, you succeed. It doesn't happen in the mortgage business, and most of the businesses
no,
we talked about, right? It doesn't happen there. Those are the big ones.
yeah.
You got
Well,
anything
here,
else for
here's
that?
one, here's one thing I say about mortgages. When interest rates go up, mortgage brokers and loan officers start to update their resumes. Okay,
Right, right,
so
right.
it's that happens. That happens for sure. The next one is real estate. Real estate agents. I used to be a realtor for some time, but if you want to take this
Okay.
one first, brother, go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't sold real estate, but I have a lot of people in the real estate business. I know it pretty well. I would say it's very gratifying, right? Similar to being a mortgage broker, right? You're
Yes.
helping someone get into their home. And if it's your first home, right? Like for me, I came from housing projects, man. Man, when I bought a home, it's like, oh my God, I could yell here, I could blast my reggaeton music, I could do whatever I want. I own this shit. I own this dirt. It's very exciting to get a home, right? And that excitement of a brand new buyer is priceless, right? You're helping you maybe get into their dream home, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's really rewarding. The commissions are pretty darn good, right? Especially if you're the one that gets the whole pie, but usually they share it, right? They're usually sharing the commission.
Yeah.
Um, what else? You control your own schedule. I don't know. The commissions are pretty high.
Yes.
Um, but I think there's a lot of challenges that we're going to talk about there with real estate. What else you
Yeah.
got as
I
far
mean,
as
you
a
do.
positive?
Well, you do control your own schedule, right? But that's a pro and a con, right? That you got to be disciplined because the fact that you control your own schedule for most people, that's a con. Because, oh, I don't have to be there at a certain time. I don't have to prospect at a certain time. Well, guess what? You don't prospect, you don't work, you don't eat, right?
Right.
You eat what you kill. So even though that's a good thing, that doesn't really apply that much. It applies here and there when you need it. Your kid's graduating. You don't have to be anywhere. I'm gonna go there. But and it's not just that industry, right? It's any industry that allows you to control your time like that, right?
Right.
But you got it only works when you do have the discipline to work, even though you're not obligated to work. So, but similar to mortgages, right? If the mortgage guy can't get them a loan because the interest rates are too high and they don't qualify, well, the realtor can't sell them a home. There's a lot of working weekends. At least a loan officer doesn't work weekends as much. Open houses. Best days to do open houses is weekends. Best day to show houses
Yeah.
is on weekends. Best time to show houses is in the evenings when people are out of work. So prime family time is
Yeah.
prime work time for a realtor, right?
Yep.
So you got to get used to it. Like, and don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, some of that is fun. I used to do open houses. That was fun. Doing open houses is kind of fun. It wasn't fun when I would do them out in the boonies on a weekend and nobody even showed up. And I'm in a suit in summer in California. Nobody shows up, and I'm just there for 4 hours waiting in an empty house. But then again, there's also days where you got buyers coming in and whatnot, right? So it takes time to build a reputation. I've got a lot of really good friends that are in real estate. They do great. Most of them don't. Most of them don't, but some of them
Yeah.
do. But that's the case with any industry. In fairness, right? I'm trying to be fair here. Okay.
Yep.
Bottom line is, whatever it is that you do, you got to make a decision to become a professional and to be consistent with it. But the same thing can be said, right? A lot of I will say this: most realtors are broke. And one of the things I know about realtors, they got a big ego. There's a lot of very broke realtors, but they act like their shit don't stink, and they're broke as a joke. And it's crazy because they're not for nothing, man. And I'm not, there's a lot of great friends of mine, but that is one of those industries that there's a lot of ego. They also like to party a lot. This is not everybody. I'm not blanketing everybody, but this is an where they do like to party a lot, and it's fun though. I've been in those environments. They invite me. I make some of my friends. I'm like, bro, man, you are at happy hour very often throughout the week and stuff. Did you close that many escrows, or what exactly are you celebrating? I bust their chops. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good industry, man. Those people that build the clientele, that are consistent, that have a system, that work their CRM, those guys can do great. They can weather the storms. That's another thing. Most people don't save money. You're going to have your feast and your famine. You are impacted by the environment. You are impacted by the economy. You are impacted by the interest rates.
Yep.
Industry number one is not impacted by interest rates, and it's not impacted by a bad economy. Those are big things, right? And then there's also you could build a team. You got buyer's agents, eventually seller's agents, right? And you got to get creative, but you could have a team, and then you could build a company. You could be with a company like EXP. Like if I were to do real estate, bro, I'd be with a company like, shout out to EXP Realty. It's a good company.
Sure.
Real Brokerage, good company. LPT, it's a good company. Real Estate of America. These are team building models. I'm all about team building, leverage income. Like when I was doing solar, bro, my team was doing 130 to 150 installs per month, bro. Guess what? I wasn't doing that many. I was doing 5 to 10. I was doing 5 to 8. Some months 10 or 11. But my team was doing 130. I was doing 7% of what my team was doing. It's making a ton of money. Even though I was closing over 115 deals a year personally, my team was doing significantly more. Leverage income is the name of the game, man. I took my family to Hawaii, for 2 weeks. I made more money, and Hawaii's expensive. And I took my mother-in-law, my mom, my kids, my wife, right? Another couple went with us. I paid for the rooms and stuff. It cost me a lot of money. I made more money while I was out in passive override income than what the trip cost me. Why? Because of leverage. So it's very limited in real estate to have that, unless you're with some of those team building companies. So you have the opportunity to do that. So that's what I would do if I was in real estate.
No doubt about it. Yep. No residual though. No residual.
No residual. Imagine if you sold a house and you got paid a percentage, even 1% of the mortgage payment, and you did that for 20 years, and you got all this clientele, this book of business. Additionally, which we'll talk about, number one, you get paid a residual on the book of business that your organization sells, right? That's why it's number one. So with that being said, we can put a sound effect, right? Boom, boom, boom. Industry number one. I'll let you introduce it, Ed.
There's only one number one. I know people are going to say, well, of course, you guys are biased, but you got to say it's number one. No, look at the facts yourself. We're going to give you the facts, okay? There's pros and cons to everything, okay? And again, we just say, right, you got to say, right, whatever fits for your lifestyle, right? Go with that, right? We just told you 6 different sales professions they're all good. Matter of fact, right? These are the top 7 that we came up with, right? They're all good. It just depends what you want, right?
Yes.
And I know you, right? You got a family. For me, right? My family's already grown, but I would never want to be, man, a slave to being somewhere Saturdays and Sundays, for example, like real estate, because real estate, you really need both decision makers. Like you really need them both, right? I can't see anybody buying a house, right? $500,000, $1 million home, only one decision maker. That would be rare. So what does that mean? You got to be there, after 5 or 6 o'clock, the time that you should be with your family, and then the weekends, right? But let's get to financial services and insurance. Okay, let's get there. Okay, the pros. There's so many pros. Okay, I want to start with this. Okay, the need factor. Okay, need, right? The reason the need, and it doesn't matter the economy, okay? It doesn't matter what the economic climate is, right? The need factor is always there. So when we talk about financial services, I want to keep it simple, Jay. I'm going to talk about three basic things, right? Getting out of debt, okay? And for those of you listening, just think about that one right there, okay? The country is in trillions of dollars of debt. It continues to go up, it doesn't go down, right? The average family household, um, I don't know, I don't have the latest numbers, right? But it keeps going up every single year, right? People are having more and more and more debt. So that's not going anywhere, okay? We do that, right? We do debt acceleration and payoff. That's something that we do, okay? Doesn't matter the climate. The next one is, I call it income protection, right? That's life insurance, okay? Right. I call it income protection because, you know, you're insuring somebody's life, right? But they got to die for somebody else to get the money. So I like income protection because what you're doing is you're protecting somebody's income. That's not going out of style, right? Because as far as we know, right, so far, right, people are still going to die, right? Or right, they're still going to die.
Dying is not going out of style,
right? Dying is not going to. So if dying is not going out of style, people must protect the income, okay? And even if you might say, yeah, but sometimes people don't have the money. You know what? I don't buy that. They have the money. Because what I would always ask my clients, what's more important out of all the bills you pay, okay? What's more important than making sure that your family doesn't have to, right, get kicked out of the home or kicked out of the apartment, right, or be living in the street? God forbid you pass away too soon, right? It's the only two things that you could either pass away too soon, your family's screwed. You could live too long, okay? And then you don't have money, and then you got to go work at Walmart, right? Those are the two things that can happen. So income protection is important because if you die too soon, you leave your family. You know, most financial experts say you should leave about 8 to 10 times your annual income. So let's just say you make $50,000 a year. You should have about a $500,000 policy to leave to your wife and kids, or vice versa, whatever it is, right? If you have dependents, that's not going out of style. That doesn't matter what administration is in play, right? That doesn't matter the economic climate, right? I'm telling you, I would have people, right, that would say to me, nope, I ain't got no money right now for insurance. I'm like, okay, I understand that. Okay, but again, what's more important than making sure your family's properly protected? Okay, I would say, AJ, you know your date of birth, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know your date of death?
No.
No. That's why we got to make sure you're protected, right? So that's number two. And then the third one is keeping it simple: debt, income protection, and then retirement savings. Having money at retirement. That's not going out of style. I want everybody to understand. To me, right, the biggest thing about financial services, there's a list: big commissions, overrides, renewal income, right? Own your own agency, own your book of business. There's a ton that we're going to talk about, right? We'll wrap up with financial services. But to me, one of the biggest ones is the freaking need. The need never goes out of style, man. Okay.
Right.
And why do you think that when you go to any city, I don't care if I go to Dallas, if I go to New York, if I go to freaking Miami, what are the biggest skyscrapers, man? They're insurance companies and banks, they're financial companies. Hello? Get a clue, right? I tell people, any city you go to, think about every city you go to, it's financial companies. Financial companies, banks, insurance, right? Credit unions, whatever. It's all in the finance area. And I know we talked about it, I think, on the second podcast. It's the largest industry in the world, dude. It's 600 trillion globally.
Worldwide, wow.
Real estate is half. It's about 300 trillion. Okay. And by the way, everybody here, we use AI. Go to AI, okay? But don't just use ChatGPT, right? What Jay and I do is we got all 7, okay? Next podcast, I'll give them all to you, okay? But I use all the AI platforms. So I don't just get the information from one, I verify it with Grok and Claude, right? And Perplexity. I throw it, and the average number is 600 trillion, bro. It ain't going nowhere. You don't see insurance companies going bankrupt, okay?
Nope.
Right? Say, anyway, solar companies, right? All these companies going bankrupt, going under. Okay, that doesn't happen here. So your money's secure. You get some pretty decent commissions. They might not be as high as real estate, right? But you make a couple $1,000s helping out a family, right? Get properly protected and have money for retirement. You're making a couple $1,000s. How long does that take? It takes people. Somebody asked me this yesterday. Okay, but how long does it take to make the money? I said, if you do a 2-appointment close, okay, we kind of recommend that, right? First appointment, build rapport, present, gather the information, okay? Now, if they want it right there, then that's it. You got paid in an hour. In an hour, right?
Yep.
Let's say worst case, 2 hours, and you're doing it on Zoom, right? You don't got to go door to door like home security. You don't got to do door to door like solar, okay? Bro, in 2 hours, you make $3,000-$4,000. Is that good money?
Hell yeah, it is.
Right? Talking to
Yeah.
someone about something they absolutely need. Okay. And that's why. So what I love about the financial service industry, and I know there's more stuff to talk about it, is the massive need, and it ain't going anywhere. You know. And
Yes.
last thing is, why does this happen? My former company did a lot of studies on this. It's because of the financial illiteracy, right? No education about money, right? So, we used to say in my former company, everything, bro, comes with instructions, right? You buy a car, it comes with an owner's manual. You buy a freaking
Yep.
microwave, it comes with a little handbook. Your paycheck doesn't come with instructions. And that's the
Right.
problem. Okay.
That's right.
So what do
That's
you
good.
got?
I like that.
Yeah. What do you got?
There's so much to unpack here. You brought up a lot of great points. And so here's we talked about a lot of different companies, right? Industries, security, mortgage, real estate, solar, business funding. Now we're at number seven, the seventh one, which is number one, financial services. None of those companies, none of those industries, actually, I take that back. Some of them do have leads. There's leads for real estate, there's leads for mortgages, but more abundant than insurance? No. We've proven, this industry has proven that there's 22-year-olds, 20-year-olds making $100,000 a year, $100,000 a month
Month. Yep.
on leads from
Leads.
home. Close a deal today, get paid in 2 days. You close a deal tomorrow, you get paid 3 days from today, right? On leads. So you could sell through leads and you could recruit if you want to build an agency, because we got the leverage opportunity. You can recruit through ads. That's number one. Number two, it's what I've never felt more professionally fulfilled like I do right now. I sit down, I protect the family. Yesterday, my buddy Johnny, shout out to my buddy Johnny Montes. He got a term policy. And he says, I need $500,000. He already has one. He says, I need another $500,000 for my son. My son needs a $500,000 policy. Bam, we got him covered, bro. You know what he paid? The guy's 36 years old. You know what he paid for that? Like, I don't remember, like $30 a month, bro. $30 a month for a $500,000 policy at 36 with living benefits, like $32, $34 a month, something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. My buddy Jonathan Franco, his wife got a policy. He got a policy. He got a $1.25 million policy for like $70 a month with living benefits. That means that if he gets injured, critical, chronic, terminal illness, he's got access to the money while he's alive. I got mortgage protection customers. I just bought my house, California, $1 million home. How would you like to protect that $1 million home, bro? If you pass away, will your wife have to sell the property? Yes, she would. She can't afford to pay it by herself.
Right.
What if something happens to you, that mortgage gets paid off? Well, how much that cost me? Cost them like $200, $200 a month. Oh, and by the way that we sold it to him with $200 a month, it's return of premium. So you got a 20-year coverage, right? Because he got 30-year mortgage, but he got 20 years because he wanted a smaller payment. But after 20 years, they got a bunch of equity. So he's like, 20 years is fine. The guy gets every red cent he put into that policy, he gets it back. So if you pass away, house is paid. You don't pass away, you get the money back. And here's the deal. Oh, by the way, if you get sick, terminal, chronic, critical illness, bro, guess what? You got that money while you're alive to cure yourself, to try to cure and get your affairs in order. It is the biggest no-brainer. Here's what I tell people. If you can't sell these services, if you can't close these services, you can't close a window. This is the easiest sale in the world. Not only that, this is a sale that every freaking body needs. You're doing something good for people. There's a lot of services that are good for people. This is one of them. You're showing somebody how, hey, listen, your last memory doesn't have to be a GoFundMe on Instagram. You get protected. Your last memory doesn't have to be a GoFundMe on Instagram. And then your wife struggling to sell the house and getting low ball offers because she's in a hurry to sell the house and take your kids out of private school, right? So why don't you do the right thing and protect your family? Be a man and protect your family. And I don't mean to be that aggressive. Actually, no, I do mean to be that aggressive.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Then the commissions, bro. I got a customer today. He wants 2 policies, him and his wife. $10,000 commissions each, bro. $10,000 commissions each. Now, these are bigger. These are retirement plan policies, right? These are income protection policies, right? When we help people with annuities, older people, guess what they want, right? The baby boomers, they say, I want to have enough money so I can retire and not run out of the savings, not run out of the money in my
Right.
retirement. That's one of the biggest things I stress. So that's where annuities come in, where they got guaranteed income that comes in every single month. Even if they use up all the money they put into that annuity, it still pays them until the day they die. We know people that already ran out of all the money they put into annuities. They already took it all out. They're still
They're
getting
getting
paid till
paid.
the day they die.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's a huge industry. There's a lot of money. It's a licensed profession. You're in any circle. You're in a chamber of commerce event. You're at a BNI group. You are looked at as a cream of the crop entrepreneur, the cream of the crop professional versus everything else. When I was in network marketing, bro, I remember I went to a chamber of commerce event. I was a number one earner in a network marketing company selling healthy coffee. Number one
Mhm.
guy out of 17,000 people at the time at that company, right? Making over $250,000 a year. I go to a networking event. I think it was a Chamber of Commerce event. They look at me like down their nose, bro. Oh, you're one of
And
those.
you're probably making more money than them, but it doesn't matter.
Correct.
Doesn't matter.
I'm making more, but they look at you. They prejudge the industry that you're in. This industry. That's one of the reasons why I left that industry. 25 years in that industry, been the number one earner, made millions of dollars, retired my mom, been the master distributor, number one earner, owned my own company. After 25 years, I said, I'm done with that industry. This is where I'm planting my flag. I'm going to go and help make 1,000 millionaires in this industry. And trust me, I'll be taken care of. I'll be just fine if I help enough customers and I help enough people build their dreams. So then you got the residual income, my book of business. Every client, guess what? I sell you a policy, a whole life policy. It pays me to the day you die. Residual income, right?
Yep.
I get paid that on my team. My agency I'm building, when they are, selling business, I'm overriding it as an agency owner, as a broker. Additionally, I own my book of business and I own my agency. The company I represent, Experior, they'll buy my agency and my book of business for an 8x multiple. If I say, look, these teams are making me $200,000 a year. Well, guess what? An 8x multiple on 200,000 is a $4 million buyout. What if I got my dream home I want to buy? I got an incredible investment I want to buy. I could go to the company and say, hey, man, I need to make an investment. I'd like to broker a deal, sell 20% of my agency. Boom, I get a $4 million check to go and do what I got to do. See, after so many years in people in different industries, whether it be mortgage, network marketing, real estate, ask yourself this question: what do I have to show after these 25 years? That's what I asked
That's a
myself
big
after
one.
25 years in the
Yep.
network marketing industry. What do I have to show for it? My answer: not much. I thought I would
Yeah.
have a lot more to show for it. That's why I said I've never been more professionally fulfilled than I am right now in this industry, bro.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. And when when you study people like Warren Buffett, right? Berkshire Hathaway, these guys, the wisdom that they have, right? We want to share this with a lot of young people that are getting in sales, right? Or they want to become business owners. They want to get into entrepreneurship, right? Because listen, AI, right? You don't got to be a rocket scientist to figure out AI is going to replace millions and millions and millions of jobs, right? A massive amount of the economy, right? People graduating now cannot look forward. So what are a lot of the experts, if you look on YouTube, they're talking about? Become an entrepreneur, right? And
Yes.
that's a sexy word for sales. Entrepreneur sales, brother. That's what it is, right? So we want to share wisdom, right, with people that are in their 20s and 30s, maybe starting, right, getting out of college, right? Or we say, you know what? I want to get into sales. That's what this is all about. But I don't want to forget this because I don't think I mentioned it in any of the podcasts. I was new to the insurance financial services industry, right? Brother, my second sale, and it was a training sale, right? Because in the beginning, right, it's like anything else. I don't know what
Yeah.
the hell I'm doing. I don't want to do the wrong thing. So you bring someone that you're going to shadow and they're going to train you, right? Dude, on my second sale, okay, it was one of my search warrant. He was an entry guy, right? He wouldn't go in, but he had a device that would actually open up the door. It didn't matter the door, right? So that was his job. And I would go in with Kenny Cologne. Shout out to Kenny, brother. I need to see you, right? But we would go in because we were bilingual, and a lot of the crack houses we were hitting, unfortunately, Spanish speaking. So this guy's 31 years of age. He said to me one day, he goes, you know what, bro? I just got a new home, right? He got two kids, a wife, and he had a mortgage for about almost 300,000. So what he had from NYPD was not enough to cover the $300,000 mortgage. He goes, bro, give me a quote for like 250. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I called my upline, right? I was literally about a month in the business, right? I'm like, hey, dude, I got somebody. I got one. I was all excited, right? I got one. And he's like, okay, great. Do the appointment. Bro, long story short, do that training sale. less than a year. 8 months later, we're executing a search warrant, Webster Avenue in the Bronx. Anybody knows what that is? That's in Candela, bro. Fire. That's fire there. Okay, like they fight the cops, they'll shoot wild there, right? We're executing a search warrant. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Normal. He goes up to the door, puts the mission. It's like the apparatus there to open up the door, and he just falls over. And bro, there's about 10 guys there. We're looking, what the fuck is going on, right? They grab him, take him right down to the ambulance, because anytime you execute a search warrant, there's always 2 ambulances a block away, right? You got to hide it, because otherwise they know. They tell, hey, they're gonna come, knock the spot down. They're gonna gets to the ambulance, gets to the hospital, died of a massive heart attack. 31 years of age. We used to work out at the gym together, bro. So what am I saying to everybody here? The need is always there. We don't know when that day could happen. And I felt great about that, right? Not that my buddy passed away, but that we did the right thing. And I remember when my trainer says, hey, the death claim came in, let's go take it to his wife. Bro, I'll never forget, because that's like, I don't care if you're partying, sometimes you party, you forget shit, right? Like, oh my God, I was, not all my senses were there. This is something I will never forget as long as I live. Giving her the check, bro, and seeing her cry, of course, right? And he had a handicapped child, bro. 2 kids. One of them was handicapped, and they had more. That family did not have to leave the home. Okay, she was taken care of, right? And that's when I knew. I was like, oh shit, this is not like just selling somebody a product or a service. This is some life-changing shit. That's what got me excited about the industry, right? And not just insurance, everything else that we do. So for me, financial services, as you could tell, that's what gets me excited, man. You do something great for people, you get paid well, and if you work at a company like ours, Experior, it's not just about selling. Some people mistake this, right? Oh, I'm going to go sell policies. No, we do it all here, don't we? Right? We do it all. We do every area of financial services, and then you get to help other people learn the business, and you get paid, and you get paid on your book of clients, residual, and then you can sell it, as you said. It's just crazy, man. So yeah. It's crazy, like bro. number one, bro. This is not, everything else is not even close to financial services.
That's right.
So yeah, whether it's our company, whether it's our company or another company, financial services, to start closing this down, right, is the number one industry, the largest, not the highest paying, but one of the highest paying. Okay, one of the highest paying, with a massive need that it doesn't matter what the economic climate or the president, it doesn't matter. People are always going to need financial services. Yep.
That's right. That's right.
So,
no, listen,
take it away, brother, so we can wrap up.
Absolutely, bro. No, well, listen, man, we got through the top 7, man. And listen, these are our opinions based on our experiences, based on what we see, based on what we've experienced. And but the numbers don't lie, though. So we're not just here giving advice. We're sharing with you real numbers as well and real facts. So with that being said, Ed, thank you very much, brother, for getting on this podcast. I hope the people got some value from today's information. I think we dropped a lot of value today, man. I think if you watch this podcast, by the way, comment, show us some love, follow us on Instagram. You can see our Instagram handles right on this video. You can see our Instagram handles on the description. Follow us, and if you want to work with us, reach out to us. With that being said, Ed, anything else you want to say before we close out?
No, I feel really great about this podcast, because I could tell you this, right? If I was in my 20s and 30s looking for a career, and like a lot of people say, right, man, you know what? I would love to live in my dream home. I want to take care of my family. I want to drive a nice car. I want to send my kids to private school. I want to go to Hawaii on vacation, right? I want to do all these things. The challenge is, right, it's a capitalistic society, brother. You need cash. You need the cheddar. If you don't have that, I don't care if you're a nice guy, a nice girl. It doesn't matter. You have to have money, right? Like I always say, money isn't everything, but it's right up there with oxygen, right?
Right.
Makes bad people worse, good people better. You're a good person. Focus on doing it. So I just hope that this podcast opened up some eyes to get into sales, right? We just gave you the breakdown of everything, and hopefully it's financial services. And as you said, bro, if you guys want to know more about our company and why we chose Experior, reach out. Other than that, brother, Enjoy that nice little cocktail you got there. Go freshen it up.